If you have found an orphaned neonatal kitten, the first thing that you're going to need to set up is a nest for it to stay in. Personally, I prefer to use a cat carrier that is a top loading cat carrier. Mine has the entire top half come off. There are also cat carriers out there where they have a square rectangular lid on the top. So either one works fabulously. There are other options for you as well. One of the most important features of your neonatal kitten box is going to be having walls. Something like this is going to work because it's nice and tall, and it will last a little bit longer in terms of how tall it is for crawling out. Plastic is, of course, better than cardboard because it's better for getting sanitized. With your neonatal kitten nest, cleanliness is always your #1 priority. So once you've picked out your box for your nest, the first thing you want to do is make sure that it's completely sanitized. After I use any kind of green or eco-friendly, baby-safe kind of soap on them, I still make sure I run really, really hot water through them, across them, all over them multiple times, and get any little tiny trace of soap gone and off of them before a kitten ever comes near them. The next thing you need is a heat source. The best kind of heat source you can have is an electric heating pad. That way you can set it for a specific temperature, and you know that it's always going to be on and at a safe, consistent temperature. When you're using this, they usually come with some sort of little cover. I will use a towel to wrap around it. And then you're never, ever going to put it under the entire container for your nest. You're only going to put it under half. You'll plug it in, you'll put it on low. The reason for this is your little kitten is going to self-regulate its own temperature. If it's cold, it'll roll onto the hot pack. If it's hot, it's going to roll its little self off. If the hot pad was under the entire nest box, it wouldn't have any choice. It might be too hot all the time and would have no way to escape that heat source. Now, if you don't have preparation for this, you found your little orphan kitten and you're trying to make do, and you don't have an electric heating pad, that's okay. What most people will do is they will just use rice. You'll put rice in a sock. You'll fill a sock with rice, knot it off and close it, and you'll microwave the rice. I usually make several if I'm having to do this so that I can keep them alternated and keep them going. Also, I don't like to use the rice in the microwave on high. I like to set it on like a low setting or a defrost setting so that I don't get hot spots. If you make a larger heat pack, like if you can sew, you can put them outside. You can also use a hot water bottle or fill your sock or bag with beans, like dry beans. That works too. So let's talk about what's going to go inside. First, let's talk about the big no-no of what goes inside. Any kind of looped material like this terry cloth towel should never go inside of your nest box, because neonatal kittens cannot retract their claws yet. So you've got this pulling and snagging that happens with these terry cloth and synthetic towels, and the little kitten's claws are going to get hooked and caught on them. So they could also get, like this one's pretty long, they could get their neck wrapped up in it. You wouldn't want anything like that to happen to them. So any of these synthetic or terry cloth kinds of hook and loop materials need to stay out of your nest box. These can be very bad for them. What are best to go inside your nest box are any kind of like a lint-free 100% cotton baby blanket. You can find these sometimes at thrift stores. They'll have little stains in them, no big deal. Wash them really well, and you should be just fine. In a pinch, I like to use old shirts. Again, you look for that 100% cotton. They're usually lint-free. And again, the stains are no big deal. You're just avoiding those little loopy terry cloth materials. These are what's bad. So if you've got a baby blanket or your t-shirt, that's going to go inside the nest box. I like to have them up on the sides a little bit so that they can help keep my kitten. Like this has some pretty big holes. You don't want their little feet getting in there and hurting them. And if I'm going to use a rice sock, and I might want to put it inside my nest box, I'll make my rice sock, I'll wrap it up in a t-shirt, and I'll stick that on a side so that if they need to, they can roll up next to it if they're cold, and they can roll away from it if they're warm. The other thing that can do if you have a single kitten is that can create a buddy. Kittens are used to being with their mom, they're used to being in a litter, so they don't like being by themselves. Some people will even buy a little fake kitten that doesn't have anything that their claws can get stuck in and put that in the nest box to give them something to snuggle up against. And you'll find that your kitten might often be sleeping up against the little plush kitten just to have a little buddy. And of course, if it's a little plush puppy or something, they're not going to know the difference. That's fine. But some sort of little plush, try to find something that's cotton and less synthetic if you can, because what often will happen with orphaned kittens that are by themselves is they'll suckle on it. The other thing that people will do if they're by themselves, or even with litters, I've done this with litters, is they'll use a clock that has a tick. This is also something that's very comforting for orphan neonatal kittens. It helps to re-simulate the heartbeat of the mother cat that they're used to hearing all the time when they slept. And you can just put this on the front or on the back, and you'll find a lot of the time that your kitten or even your kittens will all be snuggled up on the side of the box that is closest to the clock, which is always really cute to see. So those are the basics of everything you need for your neonatal kitten nest, and you should be all set. Good luck.